There's a law beneath all things, not written in any book, not taught in schools. Yet it governs every breath, every heartbeat, every rise and fall of the stars. Most people never notice it. They drift through life thinking everything is random, that things happen for no reason, that luck decides it all. But what if it doesn't? What if there's a rhythm that runs through everything, from the movement of oceans to the quiet thoughts in your mind? I used to think life was chaos. People appeared and disappeared. Dreams began, then broke apart. Moments of happiness dissolved into silence. It felt senseless, like nothing truly connected. But one night, sitting under a flickering streetlight, I noticed the world breathing. The wind whispered in rhythm with my heartbeat. The shadows pulsed with a strange harmony. It felt as if something invisible was moving through it all, a quiet intelligence, pulse beneath the noise. That night, I asked myself a question that would never leave me. What if everything is connected, and I just can't see how? From that night onward, life started revealing itself differently. Every rise had a fall. Every ending carried a beginning folded inside it. Every joy had a quiet shadow behind it, and every pain held a seed of light. I began to see it wasn't chaos at all. It was a pattern, flow, a hidden law. It wasn't a law of punishment or reward. It wasn't about right or wrong. It was about balance. The universe moves like the tide. It rises, it falls. The sun comes and goes. The heart expands and contracts. Every inhale is followed by an exhale. Everything that lives moves in rhythm, even our emotions. Moments of joy are followed by quiet sadness. Confidence gives way to doubt. Connection turns to solitude. It isn't cruelty. It's the cycle of movement, the return to center. When I stopped resisting, I began to see its beauty. When I lost something, instead of asking why me, I asked, what balance is being restored? And slowly, peace replaced panic. Because I realized the universe never takes without giving. It never destroys without transforming. One evening during a storm, I sat by my window watching the lightning tear through the clouds. Each strike looked like chaos, violent, unpredictable. But if you watched closely, there was a pattern to it. The storm wasn't random. It was rebalancing the air, clearing what had built up. And I realized that's what the hidden law does. It clears, shifts, restores. Even when it hurts, every heartbreak, every failure, every loss is just the universe rebalancing energy. Every time something breaks in your life, something deeper is aligning behind the scenes. What we call endings are only corrections. Energy returning to harmony. You can fight it, resist it, curse it, but it moves anyway. Because the hidden law doesn't bend to desire. It flows according to truth. When I began to live in rhythm with it, life changed. I stopped chasing what was leaving. I stopped forcing what didn't fit. And strangely, everything began to fall into place. Not perfectly, but naturally, because that's what this law demands. Movement, surrender, the willingness to let go, and trust that the tide knows where to take you, and maybe that's the real secret. Life isn't about control. It's about alignment, not trying to force the current, but learning to move with it. Because in the end, everything that fights the rhythm breaks, and everything that flows with it evolves. You can feel this law in your own body if you listen closely. In your breath, in the pulse behind your ribs, in the silence between thoughts. It's always there, moving, guiding, balancing. Everything you are, every emotion, every memory, every dream follows this current. And the only question that matters is this: are you moving with it or against it? Asterisk. When you fight the rhythm, you feel it first as tension, a quiet unease that lives beneath your skin. You wake up in the morning and something feels off, even though nothing's wrong. You try to make life fit a shape it was never meant to take, and it resists. You push harder, and life pushes back. That's how the law works. Not through punishment, but through reflection. It mirrors your resistance with equal force. The more you grasp, the more it slips away. The more you fear losing, the faster it fades. For years I lived that way, chasing permanence in a world built on change, trying to freeze moments, hold people, preserve feelings that were meant to pass through me, not stay inside me. And every time I tried, something cracked. Something I thought I needed would dissolve right in front of me, leaving that same hollow ache in my chest. At first I thought life was cruel, but one night, when I had lost almost everything that gave me a sense of control, I finally stopped running. I sat in the quiet and let the stillness swallow me. For the first time, I didn't try to fix the silence. I just listened, and in that silence something strange happened. It wasn't peace exactly, not the kind you read about. It was more like recognition. I could feel that hidden current again, the same one I had noticed years before. Soft, patient, endless, moving through everything, even through me. And in that moment I understood. I hadn't lost anything. I had only been forced to move with the tide I'd been resisting all along. The current wasn't cruel, it was correction. It was life rebalancing what I had thrown off balance with my fear. Everything that leaves you leaves to make room for something else. Everything that breaks open space for something truer to grow. But you can't see that when you're clinging to what's already gone. That's the hardest part about this law. It asks for trust before it gives you proof. It asks you to let go before you understand why. To believe in the unseen rhythm guiding it all. It doesn't mean you won't hurt. You will. The pain is part of the motion. But once you stop resisting, even pain begins to sound like music. Because you start to hear what it's trying to tell you. Every low point has a pulse underneath. It is a slow rise, waiting to begin. Every loss hides a quiet invitation to grow, to soften, to learn how to flow again. It's strange. Once you start to live this way, you begin to notice how everything reflects it. The way the ocean breathes in waves, the way trees shed their leaves without regret, the way night doesn't fight the morning. Nothing in nature resists its rhythm. Only humans do. We are the only ones who build walls inside a river and wonder why the water floods. We are the only ones who cling to the shore, terrified of being carried away, even though the current has always known where it's going. When I finally let go, I realized something even deeper. The law doesn't just move through the world, it is the world. It's the pulse of existence itself. It's not something outside us, controlling us. It's within us, moving through us, breathing as us. Every thought, every heartbeat, every dream follows its rhythm, and when you stop fighting it, you stop suffering. Not because life becomes easy, but because you finally move in sync with what's real. For the first time, I felt alive in a way I never had before. Not because everything was perfect, but because everything was true. Even the pain felt pure, like rain washing the dust off my skin. The law isn't hidden to keep us from it. It's hidden because we're too loud to hear it. Because we're always talking over it, chasing, planning, clinging, worrying. But beneath all of that, it waits. Patient, constant, unmoved. It's the same law that pulls the tide, turns the earth, beats the human heart. And it doesn't ask for worship. It asks for awareness. To see, to listen. To remember that everything moves for a reason. When you begin to honor that rhythm in your choices, your relationships, your own emotions, life starts to soften. You stop drowning in change. You begin to ride it. And the more you trust it, the more it reveals. Because this law isn't just about balance. It's about becoming. The universe doesn't take and give. It transforms. What leaves you becomes what you will become next. And maybe that's the real secret. Nothing ever ends. It only changes form. You can feel it now, can't you? That quiet pulse underneath everything you are. It's been there all along, waiting for you to notice. Asterisk, when you begin to see the rhythm everywhere, it changes the way you look at people. You stop judging them for their storms. You start to recognize the pattern behind their chaos, the lesson inside their pain. You realize everyone you meet is somewhere along the same wave. Some are rising, some are falling, some are lost in the stillness between. And suddenly, compassion becomes natural, because you see that we're all just learning to move with the same unseen current. One day, I met an old man on a train. He was quiet, with eyes that seemed to hold entire oceans of time. We spoke only briefly, but he said something that stayed with me. The tide doesn't argue with the shore. It just keeps returning. I didn't understand then, but I do now. He was talking about the law, about the way existence itself moves in endless cycles of return. You can't escape this law, no matter who you are. If you deny it, life will bring you back to it again and again until you finally learn to listen, until you learn to let the current carry you instead of trying to swim upstream. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every fall is just life whispering, stop fighting, flow. The more you live by this, the lighter you become. You start to notice that peace doesn't come from things staying the same. It comes from your ability to adapt when they change. You stop chasing permanence and start embracing rhythm. You stop asking, when will this end? And start asking, what is this teaching me? And slowly you realize there was never any chaos at all. Only motion. Only transformation. Only energy shifting forms so that growth could continue. This is the hidden law that governs all things. The law that births galaxies and dissolves them back into dust. The law that moves rivers, trees, thoughts, and hearts. The law that turns silence into sound and sound back into silence. It is the eternal pulse of existence. It doesn't care what you believe. It doesn't ask for faith. It simply is. When you finally stop resisting it, something opens inside you. You begin to sense the intelligence woven into everything, the way each moment arrives with perfect timing, the way every loss carries quiet purpose. You stop needing to know why everything happens, because you can feel that it's right, even the pain, even the uncertainty, and that's when the real beauty appears. When the fear of change fades, you begin to see that change is life, that holding on too tightly to anything is what creates suffering. That surrender isn't defeat, it's harmony. You begin to live differently. You listen more. You move slower. You speak softer. You stop trying to control what's never been yours to control. And you start to trust what's always been guiding you. The hidden law doesn't promise comfort. It promises growth. It doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you need to evolve. It strips away illusions until only truth remains. And once you start to live in truth, everything begins to make sense. Look around you now. Everything you see is moving according to that same rhythm. The leaves that fall, the clouds that pass, the people who come and go. Every event, every encounter, every breath part of the same vast choreography. And you are not separate from it. You are the rhythm. You are the wave. You are the law expressing itself through human form. So maybe life isn't something that happens to you. Maybe it's something that happens through you. And when you finally stop resisting, you stop surviving and start truly living, the hidden law that governs existence isn't buried in the stars or locked, nothing inside ancient secrets. It's in the simplest truth of all. Everything moves, everything changes, everything returns. And within that eternal motion lies peace. So the next time you find yourself falling apart, remember you are not breaking. You are returning to rhythm. You are finding your way back to balance. And in that balance, in that gentle surrender to what is, you finally understand that the universe has never been against you. It has only ever been trying to bring you home. Soft pause. A single breath. The tone fades into quiet reflection. Because in the end, the hidden law that governs all things isn't out there in the universe. It's beating quietly inside you.